Hey everybody, I'm Dave Karger here at the Fandango Lounge in Austin, Texas for South by Southwest. I am joined by the stars of Don Jon, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who also wrote and directed the film,
yes, sir.
and Tony Danza. Guys, this is a really terrific film.
Thanks.
I did not know what to expect. I really didn't know much about it. It's such a crowd pleaser. It's so accessible. It's a really interesting take on contemporary romance that I thoroughly enjoyed, so well done.
Thanks.
To set it up, you play a guy named Jon. Your friends, all your boys call you Don Jon because you're a ladies' man. You're a New Jersey guy. Tony, you're his dad. You're kind of hitting the clubs and meeting all of these different women and trying to find a connection. At the same time,
And failing.
At the same time, you have
Not failing getting girls.
Well,
It's
no,
failing
well, that's
finding
the connection.
Important distinction.
girls, yeah.
You have what could be described as an addiction to online pornography, and you meet a girl played by Scarlett Johansson who has something of an addiction to Hollywood romantic films.
Correct.
And the great thing about the movie is that it kind of explains and equates the two as being possibly equally damaging to your mind.
Sure.
So is that something that you think is true? You think people who watch too many romantic movies are kind of getting a skewed view of things just like porn addicts might be?
Well, first of all, it depends on the romantic movie. There's plenty of romantic movies that I love, but some of those Hollywood romantic movies that sort of just go by the formula, yeah, I think they do portray expectations that are unrealistic, just like pornography does.
Right. Is that where this idea came from? Had you seen something? You don't have to tell me what movie it was, but did you see something and you went, this is crazy, and then that's how the idea came?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I wanted to make a movie about how, we objectify each other and how that's always getting in the way of love. That rather than relating to each other as unique people, we treat each other as objects at a distance, and we compare each other to these expectations that we have. And oftentimes we've learned those expectations from movies or TV shows or commercials or magazines or, different kinds of media or pornography.
Yeah. So when you were thinking of who would be best to play your dad, was there a long list? Did you have a whole audition process, or was this an offer?
One guy. It was my first choice, was this guy.
Really?
Yeah. And it's an important role because you don't only learn these kinds of things from the media, you also learn them from your upbringing, from your family, and you can see in the story how John Sr. sort of raised up John.
Right. And what was that like?
Apple trees make apples.
To understand that you were the guy that he wanted. How did that
Well,
make
I
you
was
feel?
thrilled. I mean, first of all, I was thrilled because I read the script. I mean, I love Joseph. I've loved him for 20 years, but...
We did Angels in the Outfield together.
Okay.
So
How long ago was that?
20 years
Yeah, 20
ago.
years ago.
And he was 12, by the way. And I had a paternal thing. I've had a paternal thing for him anyway. But I was thrilled because I read the script, and the script was so good. And I think it's an important movie. I think it says, that it captures like a moment in our culture that's really clear to us all. I think a lot of people are going to go, when they watch it.
Now, you've worked with a lot of great directors, especially in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is there someone that you were modeling yourself after as far as the look of this film or how you worked with your cast?
Well, I would take different things and learn different things from a lot of different directors I worked with. I told Christopher Nolan that I was going to direct a movie, and just the fact that he didn't laugh me out of school meant a lot to me. He was like, oh, that's great. What's it going to be like? How are you going to do it? What's the budget going to be? He's a very producerial director, and he pays a lot of attention to the technical details. And, the whole rest of the time we were working together, he would throw me little bits of wisdom, like, if you're going to shoot a scene in a car, don't use a tow rig because it never looks real and it takes too much time to set up.
How about you? How would you describe Joe as a director compared to the ones you work with? Does this kid have a future?
Yeah, no, I think I think he's got a future. What Joseph does, first of all, is he's learned well from a lot of people. I mean, back to Bill Deere, by the way,
Bill
all the way
Deere,
back
man.
to Bill Deere.
Who directed Angels in the
Yeah,
Outfield?
but Joe is also a student of this. He's not just somebody who decided I want to be a director. He's learned all the ins and outs of it. He's not a guy saying to the cinematographer, "What do you think we should do?" He's got his shot. He knows what he wants, and with the actors, he does the same thing. He knows what he wants, and when the director knows what he wants, it makes it that much easier for you to give it to him. And so,
Now, most, if not all, of the scenes that you guys have together are Sunday family dinner scenes where you're in your matching tank tops, wife beaters, I guess we should say. Did you guys get any fun snapshots of the two of yourselves? Because you do cut a really interesting image, the two of you together.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the idea is, they don't want to get sauce on their nice church shirts. So they take them off, put them on the back of the chair.
I see.
And have their undershirts.
They have their undershirts and their chains. And,
there's a film within the film, a romantic comedy that you and
yeah,
Scarlett's
great. That's
character.
brilliant. This
it's
I
called,
think is one of the smartest things he did. By the way. Really smart.
just down to the title of it, Special Someone, starring Channing Tatum and Anne Hathaway.
Couldn't get anybody good.
Yeah, right. How did you get them to do it?
Those are just really good friends of mine. Both Annie and Chan are, you know, we go back a long way. Both of us have done a couple movies together apiece. In fact, Chan's very first movie was this movie called Havoc that I had a small part in, and Annie's the star of it. And that's where we all met. And we've been friends ever since. And so, you know, I called them up and said, I'm finally directing a movie, and will you come and make fun of romantic comedies with me? And they were like, yeah, this is great. And we had a blast. Just, you know, spent a half a day making fun of rom-coms.
And because Jon does watch a lot of online pornography, there are a lot of montages of pornographic shots in the film.
That's right.
Did you have to study real hard and work real hard to figure out what you were allowed to show and what you were not allowed to show, and you wanted to walk that line?
It was a lot of work because, you know, I wanted to show how this guy is so horribly objectifying women. And the image of him watching pornography, I thought, really did that. But I don't want to make a movie that shocks people or makes people uncomfortable or anything like that. I just want to communicate it and sort of invoke that feeling without showing you anything you don't really want to see, you know? So it took a lot of editing work, a lot of work finding just the right pieces. And by the way, there's no long swaths of pornography. Everything's like that quick, you know?
Right.
And it's all interwoven with the voiceover and the music and the cutting and the rest of the storytelling. But yeah, finding those clips, finding just the right moment, cropping them just the right way. Because at no point also do you ever just sit and watch pornography for the sake of watching it. Every little moment that's in there corresponds to something he's saying in the voiceover and sort of tells the story and moves it forward. So yeah, it's painstaking.
Really well done, guys.
Thanks so much, man.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Tony Danza, Don Jon coming out later this year. Definitely check it out. Thanks so much, guys.